Well, hey everybody. Hope y'all are well. Haven't updated anybody on the layout in quite a while, and part of that is because I had a whole lot of work to do to sort of demolish, controlled demolition, which I absolutely was putting off and procrastinating. What I had to start getting stuff down here in the garage where I am now. You can see over my shoulder I've got some of the layout back there. In this video, I was getting ready to move Manchester actually, and my wife sort of randomly started recording. So we'll pick up the action there, kind of catch you up to where we are here. I'm glad she did. She was right. I think, maybe there's something interesting in here, or at least y'all can sympathize with somebody who's got to tear his layout apart. But I think I'm saving decent sized chunks of it over there. With all that said, let's have a layout update. Oh, I see what it is.
What's going on over there?
I might have soldered something I shouldn't have.
Uh-oh. Best laid plans, right?
Uh-huh. Well, this wasn't meant to be moved. Let's see, we've got the backdrop kind of stuck together, but largely Manchester's coming free. I had to take a razor blade and cut right through the backdrop. And there's a little bit of places where some plaster was on the seam, and I have a soldered rail joint right on the seam I shouldn't have done right here. So we've now ripped that rail off that track, and that's part of what's...
Show the joint? Oh, that's what was keeping it.
This right here. That's part of it. And there's something stuck back in there. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to wedge a screwdriver back in there.
Well, don't take all your anger out on it.
It's really wedged in there. All right. Let me go under and see maybe there's something else I missed underneath. All right, so behind this section in Manchester, I had put this little, I don't know if y'all can see that, it's hard to see, but this little 1x2 right here is hard screwed into the back of Manchester. So that's what's sticking. We'll take that out, just kind of looking at the back of staging back there. I'll recycle as much of that as I can. Got to get this little piece of backdrop separated, and then she'll come free. All right, we got Manchester moved. We got a tree down, a probably ruined backdrop, and some damage to the fuel dealer I can fix. The two vertical tanks there and there fell down. And that's kind of what it looks like. Probably some damage to the wiring. We're kind of yanking on it a little bit to get it to pop off the table. I'd cut things where I knew to cut them, but it's possible I missed something. So here it sits. That will eventually rotate that way and be situated not far from where it is now, just up on some bench work. So, progress. All right, back upstairs. Now you can kind of see how I had the room laid out. This is where Manchester was. That staging in the back there. And various wiring. That's the power supply I converted for lights. Control panels there. Unfortunately, I won't really probably do much with that section right there. So that's next to come out. Then the idea is to move this structure downstairs, and that'll leave me with the creek scene. I'll be able to move that in one piece, thankfully, mostly one piece. But moving Manchester through the door, I now recognize I don't think there's any way for me to move this thing, this yard, in one piece. It's just too big. So, and that's just sitting there temporarily. So the seam is somewhere in here. I'm just gonna have to do more damage than I intended to, but we can relay track and fix things where we need to. But that's kind of a bummer. I just don't think that's gonna be able to be moved as long as it is. And the destruction continues. My little rock face I used to hide staging is in my hand. But now you can kind of see what I did with it. It's just carved out of foam. and some paint and washes and dry brushing on the rock face, and then just a little bit of, you know, ground cover and trees on the top, and then it just sat right in front of the backdrop. And if nothing else, I learned a lot, but I imagine I'll be able to find a home for at least parts of this on the new iteration. All right, the destruction continues. I have used a hot knife and a sharp knife to cut through foam and Sculptamold, and a Dremel to cut through rails there. And I thought this would be a good time to kind of show y'all how we got into staging before. So you're coming through the creek scene, you're on that outer track on the left. There was that rock wall that was right through here. You went behind it into the trees, and then now that this is loose, I can just, yeah, there's how you get into staging. It was just right there. So thought that would be neat to show. More to come as the destruction continues. Well, hey, just wanted to show y'all how neat I had done my wiring. Isn't that nice? Nice and isolated to just this section. All is well, right? I ran it on the wrong side of that metal. Oh, Lord. So I gotta undo all this. Because those go to the track and the feeders come along nice and neat and go into the bus. Dough. All right, it's an hour later. Very advanced stuff here, folks. Run the wires not through your support, so you can just lift the table right off. And it's not quite as maybe as clean as it was before, but still pretty good. And that's that. And this wire kind of in the foreground is just the bus, which I may just pull out of there and disconnect from there and there. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just coil it up and nail it to the bottom of the table. But yeah, that was an hour detour. But this part I'm keeping. So I wanted to get that right. And now it's somewhat modular. Once I get the track connected up above to new sections and run bus here, it should be live, the whole thing. So this is the creek section. More to come. Oh, what a disaster area. May not look like much, but I've got staging out of here, Manchester out of here, destroyed the old corner section. That's gone. That will move on. That's what I was just wiring underneath. So that's ready to go downstairs. And I'll probably reuse or repurpose this area underneath the new Manchester. And we'll have Manchester here and staging behind it just as before. And just kind of showing, you know, I've got the control panel here. I took my power pack out of there, my DCS thing. That's the power supply that I converted to run lights and stuff. And I've just got it sort of temporarily taped all together. It's not meant to invert. When I built it, I built these little brackets that there's some on the other side too that hold it in place, but it's not meant to be flipped upside down, which it might well be flipped upside down, moving it downstairs. And then this cord is just for this super long power strip, which probably won't go here because my workbench won't be next to staging in the new configuration. But yeah, I might as well just take that off of there. So that's where we are. And as I mentioned before, I'm just thinking, oh, these are the trees I saved from the hill. And some of the scenery and stuff that I thought was worth saving. Some of these mats that I made, they're upside down. They look pretty good on the correct side. So that's furnace filter and coir mats, and there's a video back in the history about how I did that. But I think I'm going to be able to save the ladder, and the joint between these two sections is somewhere in here, and I do think I'm going to have to make some cuts there, unfortunately. I don't see this thing moving in one piece. It's just too long. After moving Manchester, that became plainly obvious. And I'm not sure how much of this backdrop is going to make it. I've had to make cuts to it, you know, and it's going to be really hard to match it up later. Those things are modular. But I'll see what I can figure out. Well, that's where we are. I'll probably get these last two pieces moved down to the garage. And All right, well, the peninsula that was staging in Manchester is gone, the corner is gone, the creek scene is gone. I'd previously removed what was going to be the harbor scene. So all that is left now is South Yard. And I have an idea. I've got my L girders I brought up to brace that joint. And my idea is, if I take these off, they're just barely attached to the, just so they don't slide around. There's just some small wood screws that go up into the braces. Undo those, I can slide it off the wall. And then I think I can take the backdrop, because this is not the bifold closet doors. This is just one hollow corridor on end with another one. And then I made the backdrop to go along with it. That means I can take it apart. So I think if I take this apart, brace it, and turn it into essentially a plane, I might be able to move that, even though it's, 4 feet long. Same thing for the backdrop. So that's what we're gonna try, but that's not gonna be today. I'm running out of gas. You can see it's starting to get dark out. That's as far as I wanna go today. So controlled demolition. I think I saved some significant chunks of this to reuse downstairs. And boy, the room's really starting to open back up a little bit. And anyway, that's where we are. I'm rambling. Thanks for watching, y'all. Stay well and be safe.